Hello everybody, welcome back. Hopefully you join me in this video as we take a look at a something really kind of special to me. So that I had a bit of a opportunity to have a exhibition of my artwork in a gallery. It was an interesting experience. So I want to take you for a tour through that gallery right now and hopefully enjoy me for the next 11 minutes, give or take, of me kind of explaining the artwork. And if you do, why not leave a like? Let's get on into it.
Hello and welcome to Barefoot Dreams. So as we have here, we have depending on depictional terms, what you want to call these are I call them the night spirits, and they linger in the shadows and the stars blending with the skies. As you see, with the shiny complexion here, metallic skin, scales, the moon reflects on them and blends them into their backgrounds, as you'll see in a few other paintings here. This is a trail reflecting the two scenes here. This one's kind of starting off as the start of the dream state. As you head in, trailing with these, we follow along, and we go further down the trail path here as we start heading further into the story. From here, as we head on through, we end up with the sacred kind of depiction story here, segment of the dream, kind of the sacred land. Yeah, it's a weird one. Basically those that, like my sacred land, those that own the land, live the land, when they die, they stay with the land. And as it's been lifted up from the, basically, excavation, that's it with the word lingo, excavation of the land, quarrying of the mine, quarries for minerals, whatever they do. People that died there, spirits are left there, kind of get stirred up, and they're kind of very rooted, but they're stuck to the area. So this is a reflection of time where it was sacred land or owned land, got turned into a quarry and tarnished, but then replenished itself. But they're kind of left there looking by, but they're rooted to the land. And this is a close-up of that water pond here, and there's more going on, kind of like spiritual creatures there. Just to warn people off. And we've got more over here. We've got the kind of similar to those that are the sacred or the tarnished. They're more the ones that have kind of stayed with land, and land hasn't been disturbed too much. So basically, we have the trail still where we're starting to get away from the bush and starting to come in as we've got more of a concrete path here. So it's been slightly disturbed, and that's why they're kind of awoken, but it's not fully disturbed that they've become anything like that. So they're kind of been blending in still with the environment, still living fine, the spirit still lingering. But then you start seeing you've got this little guy kind of peeking through here as a little secret, like hello, which leads on to more down the track. But if you take notice of the paintings, there's a few little yellow flowers everywhere, and you actually find them through a little. But if you look back here, you'll see in a few of these. So we cut down here. My shadow's away, so if you look down here, there's the little yellow flowers down there. That's one of those guys there, and there's a couple in there as well, lurking around. So we've got them in a few paintings, but we're going to move on to here, introduce these guys here, which is there, and as you can see, our friendly friend in the background there, hanging up in the stars, blending away in the shadows. Sorry, I'm going to give you a weird angle there because the tripod's not tall enough. So we continue on over here, and we've got the playground. So it's typical to most people when you dream, usually dream of a playground. So this is basically that idea of that is, you always dream of things that are familiar to you, usually a lot of childlike things. So kind of following on from the path that we saw here, we see the trail here coming away, but it's starting to get a bit more civilized. As you can see, there's lights in the park, and the fact that the playground itself, and we've got a bubbler and stuff like that. And basically the most obvious prominent thing is the playground, because in a dream you always have a very prominent focal point to your dream. So that is the playground. Very blue, very blue and yellow, very prominent, popping out. But we've got these little guys here. So these were in cultural, the story that were told as children to, not play out at night, don't go in the woods, rah, rah, rah. And because these guys would steal the children and eat the children. So keeping that in tone to the cultural thing, he's at the playground, out of all places, and he's mugging on a swing. So yeah. Few more little hidden things. You can see there's one there, little yellow flowers there. small things as well. So there's little Easter eggs. So like the bubbler has water coming out, which is actually to parallel the water creature, and then we've got a few little other hidden things around. So I like to hide a lot of these. So continue on here to the next one, which is another one. So we've got more of the people kind of similar thing as the few that are lurking. So they're like the in between before they start getting and growing. If they're kind of between settled and unsettled to the nature. So we have a few there kind of lurking because we're more of a civilized, again more suburban, should I say, civilized because we've got a power pole there showing like it's in the middle of an area there, but then he's getting a bit brighter because he's getting closer, so he's standing out a little bit more. But yes, we've got two guys there, which are of course the grass people. I haven't really given them a name, but it's still in the vein of the sacred. Just yeah, they're kind of in between, not extremely tarnished land, but also not one with the land. So yes, and everyone's favourite will come over here. It's the phone booth. So as you can see here, we're starting to get more into the town of things, more suburbs, more infrastructure, more commercial. With the phone box, very iconic Telstra for Australia. So then we've got more of these guys hanging around, coming out of the woods and kind of lurking by. So they're kind of watching and peeking and being like, oh, what's going on? So there's clearly a sense that something with children is nearby, and they're kind of like looking out for that. So yeah, that's kind of lurking. In the woods, be careful. Basically, a lot of it is reflecting like if you've always felt like there's something in the dark or out of place, everything seemed a bit weird, or you're not too sure what I'm lurking. It's possibly these guys lurking around the corner. Yeah, so be wary. We're keeping with the dream state. We're coming across, but we've got a flip flop because again, dreams always start blurring and fading around. So it's kind of a gradient. You could have played this backwards, forwards, whatever which way. But we've got the building on this side. We've still got the grass in the park on this side. But the big key point for me is we've got a red figure here, and we've got the graffiti, but the biggest part is the graffiti in the green saying dream. So as this is being Barefoot Dreams, remember to always dream. So we've got a few different little graffiti designs here and little joke references to myself and a few things to keep it in mind. So we've got like Pac-Man in there, and a few little like video game kind of stuff references, and a few different little pieces. So it's just a fun little thing. We've got little scraps of stuff to kind of show that it's, in an area. And again, we've got the water. So water key pointed again, which you've seen, which is the water guy. And then if we look really close, which you might not see, but I have to get the camera zoomed in, we've got some eyes in the drain, which is a reflect to one coming up. So there's all these little, Easter eggs. Whether it's in there or how to do this video cut, it may or may not be there. But again, nighttime starting to fade away. We don't even have the stars because we're going from where it starts off the nighttime of the dream and to just get to more daytime. So yeah, so we've got the designs here. So a sun goddess, and she's usually seeking her children or child, depending on the story. So that's kind of why it's lit up a bit more brighter. And there's more stars because it's like the embodiment of the light. So that's where we come to here, move it over. So as we get into frame down, frame. This one here is more close up, so that's why the ground's a bit more brighter. I mean, it's a bit more brighter because it's out the ground. That's the core of where the light comes from. Is the head. It's like a beacon, like a lighthouse. So it's one of those things. Kind of like the play of like that's where the idea of the lighthouse came from. Maybe I don't know, but that's something that's been around for a long time in the culture. So in history. So I wanted to keep a lot of those kind of main characters in there, of course, and then play around with a few and interpret a lot myself. So these I've kind of seen a few times, but this is what I wanted to go for, and then I realised doing research that it's a thing. Like I didn't think, I just felt the red was calling me, the white around the head was calling me. I saw base images, and a lot of the times they're very outline. So that was pretty cool. That ended up being a sun god or goddess, a sun goddess that I wasn't even intentionally trying to create. It's just in my mind. I felt it. It felt right. I wanted that beaming light. And, like that embodiment, but yeah, ended up actually being a thing. So I was like, oh, okay, that was actually calling to me. We've got little bunyips here. Are we in frame? Are we in frame? Are we in frame? Are we in frame? We're not in frame. Partly in frame. We're in frame now. Okay, so bunyips. So These are the four-eyed guys, which you would have seen when I showed that close of the drone. So that's inside of the drone there. That's a close-up of one side of the face, which you would have seen so far. There's close-ups of characters to get more of the detail. The fun part, this was the funnest one, was the house. Are we still in frame? Yes, we are in frame. So the house, yes, it was that one there, kind of further away so you don't get the detail, so that's why I had that to make the detail, so you can actually see what it actually looks like, and there's a shadow in the background and all. So we'll move on from that. So then that's the main scene here. These guys are made up of a combination of a platypus and a possum. So these guys are little rat bags that like to get into your trash and run through the sewers. So it's not just, your big hoof and possums you hear around, they could be one of these guys. But they like to rummage, they like to take anything they can get their hands on and eat it, whatnot. We've got like cardboard and food and scraps and bottles and rubbish and all that kind of stuff. And again, water, key point, again, back to the other guy. And then there's a few little like Easter eggs again. So we've got like the yellow flowers there hidden away. I've got these little guys sitting up in the corners of this stuff here, which will go to the next one, which will connect them together again. So everything's connected. Everything is all part and parcel, even with how crazy this all is. So we'll go into more, kind of across. There we go, these guys. So we'll keep this in frame so you can see the connection. So these guys right here, these little fellas, little rat bags, they're the embodiment of a little bean rat. Get everything. But yeah, that's in there and there. And they're in the house. These guys are kind of the same things as these guys outside, but these more live inside. They like to live inside houses, warehouses, shops, and like that. And they're the little guys that steal things. There's the keys. And it goes missing, it's these guys take it. He was trying to steal some wheat picks. So he's inside a shop trying to steal stuff and lift up. And again, that's a close up.
All right. I thank you for hanging out with me in this video. Hopefully enjoyed the content. I know it's a little bit different, but I really wanted to share this with everyone. Just how like happy I am with this experience. It was just a goal that I've always wanted to have was to get my artwork into a gallery, and this opportunity came up, and I just went for the chance, just applied for it, and I got accepted. So this is the outcome from that journey, uh, painting and stuff. And I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. Met some great people through the whole thing, and just everything was been amazing. So that's in for a little bit longer, and I about a month's time I pack that up, and who knows what happens, what goes from here. But it's a start. So if it never goes any further, I mean, follow along. We might get to see what happens. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Until next time. Bye bye.